Found it. It's always annoying to record something and then have to cut chunks out because you went over, and I don't really want to spring for a fancy new YouTube permissions thing, which is apparently worth it, but not ready to do that quite yet. So, it's a little thin around the middle. Yeah. Weird. They kind of all are. That was just the right size, though. Okay. So anyway, I was talking about Tomentosa. Woolly Yerba Santa is one of my favorites. It's this really gorgeous white, silvery, fluffy plant with fantastically smelling foliage, pretty aromatic stuff. And it helps to ease breathing complaints. The term that keeps popping up when I look into the family Eriodictyon is anti-asthma. I don't know if I would go that far. I don't have asthma, so it's really hard for me to test those claims, but it helps alleviate the symptoms for my allergies, which I am forever grateful. And I know it's not an antihistamine. It simply treats these symptoms, which, you know, I'm okay with. And I would like to distill it and have a good close look to see what is in the essential oil of Yerba Santa, or at least woolly Yerba Santa. That is a really freaking narrow smudge stick. I'm not happy about it. See if there are any other short clippings. No. Yeah, this will work. Not the prettiest, but it gets the job done, and you know, that's what smudge sticks are all about. Although presentation is kind of a hubris for the maker. You don't want to make something that looks freaking ugly, but if we have to get the job done, that's just what has to be done. I'm actually quite fond of black sage. It's a really nice plant, but it's more fragile than it looks, I guess. It's this bright green when it's on the plant, or when it's just been, yeah, there we go. When it's just been trimmed, I'll show you some. Like so. It's nice and bright green, and it turns black as it dries. It also shrinks a bunch, but It doesn't take harvesting very well, so you actually need to encounter a lot of it in order to get what you need for any significant amount. So I guess it's just good luck that I found a place that has a lot of it growing around. But it's a pretty significant plant out here. And it's one of the identifying smells of summer in Southern California. It's just got this really nice spicy smell to it. Sort of like Salvia officinalis or Salvia clevelandii, very similar plants that evolved in very similar climates that happen to be very far away from each other. That's Dalmatian sage from the Mediterranean region and blue sage from the Californian region. And in fact, I have read in multiple places and tried it out myself and found that the two are rather interchangeable as seasonings. And that's really fun to play with. It's a much more potent smell. And in fact, on hot days, it will hang in the air. And anybody who has spent much time in Southern California in the summer will most likely recognize it instantly. It is the smell of chaparral. It is much better. Just make a habit of adding an extra bit of sage to these smudge sticks and they won't look narrow, or at least as narrow. They're also quite sticky if you have to work with them a lot. It's the resin. Actually, I found it quite interesting. This is pretty resinous, but it's not as resinous as I thought. Erudition crassifolium, I believe, or it might be trichocalyx, which are they're varieties of yerba santa. I'm kind of blanking on their common names right now, but the form of the leaf is rather dependent on where it lives and the climate there, and they can get so resinous that the dried leaves will bubble when you try to light it, and they won't smolder, unlike black sage, which will. And I have been closely observing, and the leaves don't really shrink when they dry for crassifolium. It's really kind of weird. Whereas black sage will shrink considerably. As it dries, and that is because the I guess there's significant amounts of water stored in the leaves of Salvia mellifera. I guess just the resin just holds a lot of water, and it will shrink considerably before it is totally dry. But interestingly enough, even after they're dry enough to smolder, they will continue to dry and shrink. So I thought that was really interesting. Just sort of the way it is, I guess. But it's certainly not something that I find to be quite common. At least to this degree, they will really, really shrink. Come on. Wrapping small leaf sages can be a bit of a challenge sometimes, because you want to make sure that every leaf has at least one wrap in it, because when they dry, the dead branch will want to get rid of the leaf. So if it's not like tied in, it won't really stay. It'll just like fall off, and not really attractive when a potential customer kind of picks one up and a couple leaves fall off and they're like, oh God, I don't want the shopkeeper to know that I did this. I better move out of this place now. So securing the leaves is pretty important. And of course, the real money maker is when people buy the smudge sticks, and then you get to sell more of them. So it's pretty important to secure those leaves. Let's see here. I'm just using cotton twine because it's available. I had forgotten that I kind of ran out of my usual. And cotton twine will do just fine as long as it isn't treated with anything, aside from like bleach. The bleach is subsequently washed out of the cotton before the twine is even made, so it'll burn just fine. You just have to be sure that whatever you tie smudge sticks with, it is a natural fiber, because petroleum fibers do not do well with fire, and will definitely alter the contents of the smoke. Whoops. Looks like it's time to start a new video. Try not to keep this too long, but I don't care, and you'll watch if you want to, I guess. Yeah.